Hello all, welcome to Developing Success. So this is the lecture of biomes part 2, and in the previous lecture in the biomes part 1 we completed the 5 biomes, and those 5 biomes are the tundra, the taiga, the temperate rainforest, the temperate deciduous forest and the Mediterranean biome. So in this lecture we are going to complete another 5 biomes. Like I told you in the last lecture that we have 10 biomes in the world which are mainly recognized. So you need to know these biomes about because of exams, and in this lecture we will be completing the most important biome, that is the equatorial rainforest biome. So this year in 2019 and 2020 mainly we saw that the tropical biome in the monsoon areas and also in the equatorial areas, they actually had great fires. Like in the Amazon we saw the great fires, in the Australia Murray Darling Basin we saw the great fires, and this lecture also constitutes of the savanna forest and all, which is also very important for exam. So for the biomes part 1, who all have not watched, I have given the link in the description box. You can check it out and you can watch from there. In that lecture the basics of the biome have also been taught, so that will be important. So in this lecture we start with the 6th biome, that is the subtropical deciduous biome. So if let us remember that what is subtropical area. So anything like from 30 degree to 40 degree, like mainly 35 degree latitude is the subtropical area. So it is just above, just north of the tropic region. Okay, so the subtropical biome is the mainly called the China type biome or the Gulf type biome or the temperate monsoon, or they are called. So they are not actually present in the temperate region, but they touches the 40-degree latitude. That is why they are known as temperate monsoon. So they are distributed along the eastern margins of the continents in warm and subtropical and nearly temperate areas just outside the tropics. It has comparatively more rainfall than the Mediterranean biome, which is around the same latitude. Now the important part of this is they are actually mainly related to the typhoons, the hurricanes, the bergs and the pampers, which we have studied as the cyclones. Okay, so these cyclones actually create too much of rainfall in the Gulf regions, in the Gulf part of the eastern margins of the continents mainly, and they create rainfall, and that is why they are sometimes also known as temperate monsoon biome. So if we look at the map, you will see the areas, and these areas are near the Gulf of Mexico, hurricane. So with this hurricane also comes the tornadoes. Okay, and in the Argentina and Uruguay section we have Pampero. In the South Africa part we have Berg, and in the China and South Japan part and in South Korea coastal part we have typhoons. And this typhoons also affect India after they create a great destruction in the South China Sea. And then you have southerly burster in the eastern part of Australia, east coast of Australia actually. So this is the temperate monsoon, and the great landmass of the Asiatic continent with a mountainous interior induces a great pressure. So because there is a continentality feature in the northern hemisphere too much, there is a much pressure difference in the tropical and the tropical marine areas and also on the land area. So the land area in the summer season actually becomes cool at the night time, but the sea coast remains warm because the water actually preserves more heat than the rocks. So the low pressure is created day by day on the sea, and a low depression is created after some days. That depression invites the high pressure winds from all the sides, and cyclone kind of situation grows up. So this cyclone kind of situation is actually creating a great amount of rainfall in the Chinese Gulf, in the Mexican Gulf, in the Gulf areas of Australia and some parts of South Africa, and that is why it is known as by different names like the China type, the Gulf type, the temperate monsoon and all that. You can read the description, as I have also given the PDF file of this note in the description box. So in the Indochina and the eastern coast of China, these are known as the typhoons. In the northern Australia, Papua New Guinea part, this part here, it is known by the name of southerly burster. Then you have Tanzania and Mozambique, and some parts of South Africa touching, it is known as Berg. And then you have Gulf of Mexico, you have hurricanes here, and in the Argentina and Uruguay section you have Pamper. So this is the temperate monsoon part. Next type of biome is your tropical deciduous biome. This tropical deciduous biome is ours biome of India, that is the monsoon type. So I have made you understand about the monsoon in the previous classes which we did, and because of this monsoon actually the whole India is endowed with rainfall, mainly in the summer season. So the tropical deciduous biome, the monsoon biome, is actually one season rainfall, and we have three dry seasons. So in India actually, and in the pseudo monsoon areas like Pakistan and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and in the Western Australia part we have pseudo monsoon. So this monsoon is actually giving rainfall for 3 months, and but they are not continuous rainfall, they are coming in breaks, and another 3 seasons there is no rainfall from these monsoons. So those 3 seasons are dry, and in the dry seasons at last the trees are adapted to shed their leaves into one season, so that because the moisture is not available because of less of rainfall, no rainfall, so the leaves have adapted to the kind of shedding of the leaves. So this shedding of the leaves gives the deciduous nature of the trees and forest in the tropical deciduous biome, which is the monsoon type. So if we talk about the locations, we get the monsoon biomes in the Makran coast of the Arabian Sea in the Pakistan area. Then we have Ganga Plains, Brahmaputra Plains, Indochina, North American some part, and we have pseudo monsoon, which are the just touch of the monsoon, is Somalia, Madagascar in Africa. Then we have south of Japan, we have Mexico also. Okay, so this is the, we know the characteristics of the monsoon, that the distinct wet and dry season, reversal of the wind is there, that is why they are known as monsoon, and some 100 to 250 cm rainfall, so great range of rainfall. Some areas it exceeds 300 cm, like in the northeast section of Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and also in some places of Kerala. So they are also known as drought deciduous forest, dry deciduous forest, and tropical deciduous forest. So by different names. So where we receive the drought season in the deciduous forest in India, that part is the Bundelkhand and the Vidarbha region with 80 cm annual rainfall. Then you have dry forest of Chhattisgarh, 100 to 140 cm in the Dantewada and Durg section, okay, in the Dankaranya plateau. Then we have dry deciduous like Delhi, which is highly influenced by the continentality feature. And then you have tropical deciduous like West Bengal, Odisha, Maharashtra, Karnataka, which is around 150 170 cm rainfall. So the important varieties of trees in the monsoon biome is actually teak, sal, and you have bamboo also. Then the dry season shed their leaves. I told you deep roots system is there. Actually there is no water in 3 season, there is a distinct dry season. The roots are actually deep roots, and they go deep down, they penetrate into the soil to get the water. So the taproot system is also developed. So this is the monsoon biome here, and we can see from the map, if you can see from the map, the monsoon biome, the main part is India. So in India there are black dots. Why this black dot? Because this is known as tropical monsoon, and the other monsoons, they are known as the tropical marine monsoon. Okay, because they are mainly influenced by the convectional rainfall near the coast. As you can see, all are near the coastal areas, not far from the coastal areas. But India is one place in the tropical monsoon section where you will receive rainfall where there is no coastal area also, like in the Ganga plains, or in the Delhi section, in the Haryana section, in the Madhya Pradesh area. So that is why two different distinctions. Now if you see Japan here, and this is the South Japan part here, in the Philippines part, and Australia here, and Somalia at this part, Madagascar and this part. So these are known as the pseudo monsoon areas, because they're completely not monsoon, but monsoon type of rainfall touches these areas, and so they are known as the pseudo monsoon areas. The next biome is actually the savanna biomes, which is a grassland biome. So previously what we read about the grassland was your temperate grasslands. So temperate grasslands are present in the temperate areas, which is around the latitude of 40 to 60 degree. But the savanna are the tropical grasslands, and they are present just between the deserts and the rainforest. Okay, so as they are present in between the deserts and the rainforest, so they have more rainfall than the temperate grasslands, and that is why with the grasses they have some trees also, which are very widely spaced, not very nearby, but they have trees. And the main savanna is located in your Africa part near the equator. The most famous African savanna is the Serengeti National Park in Tanzania, which is known for its zebra population. Other locations are Kenya, you have DR Congo, Central African Republic, Botswana, Zambia. While savannas are located on 6 of the 7 continents, the largest are found in the Africa. Other areas are Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Mexico, Belize, Honduras, all these. So the if it is asked in the examination which is the best example of savanna in India, then it is mainly the Karnataka state. The south of the Deccan Plateau, the Karnataka part is mainly the savanna grasslands in India. Average annual rainfall is 80 to 150 cm. Mainly it accounts from 80 to 120. Okay, the savanna landscape is all about grasses and short trees, and the grasses are also long here, and they are deciduous nature, obviously because of a distinct dry season. And if there are distinct dry season, there will always be a problem of fire. So fire occurs at different times of the year in both dry and the wet season. And because of because there is no obstruction of mountains, there is no rainfall in the savanna areas, and these areas actually grow bigger, and this area turn into desertification because of grazing and pasturing too much. Okay, so many of the savanna grasslands in the world are now seen as desert because of the man-made desertification. See the savanna location. So this is the savanna location. Like you can see the whole of Africa actually near the equatorial part here, and India you have Karnataka state, Australia some parts in Brazil and Argentina here, and also here in the Suriname and French Guiana section. So main part, if you can see, it lies with the African part. So this was your savanna biome. Next biome we are doing is your tropical rainforest biome. So this tropical rainforest biome, you can call it the equatorial rainforest, you can call it the equatorial evergreen forest, you can call tropical moist broadleaf forest. Okay, and it is mainly present on the 0 degree latitude, and the extent is 10 degree north to 10 degree south. This is the extent. So around 20 degrees it is present, and Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Central America, Gabon, all these countries are there. You can see on the map which all countries are there in this 10 degree north and 10 degree south bracket. The rainfall will be exceeding by 250 cm, and the main faunal vegetation is mahogany, ebony, dyewood, rosewood, and there may be epiphytes also. The trees will be around 75 meter will be their height, and more than that 150 meter height also touches. Animals like monkeys, sloth bear, snakes, rodents, all will be there. So these are all factual informations which you can read from the PDF file. What we need to understand here is the diagram of the rainforest. So if you see the diagram of the rainforest, there is a 50 meter to 75 meter canopy. This is the canopy here, as you can see. Because of this canopy, the sunlight penetration is not possible, and that is why the decomposition of the leaves which fall on the ground is very late, which creates the humus soil, and the soil is also very acidic, not fertile, because too much of rainfall brings the leaching effect, and that leaching effect creates the acidic soil. Now if you can see, the some trees are actually gaining too much of height, like 150 meter. Why? Because these are the trees which need sunlight, and so that is why this is the adaptation of gaining height here, because other trees are actually just creating a canopy, just creating an umbrella like situation, and they do not allow the sunlight to enter into the forest. So when you walk into this forest, a dark sensation is always felt, and the soil is always wet, and it is like greasy soil, because the humus content is there and it is not completely degraded. So this is about the rainforest. And if you see the distribution, the distribution is the Amazon rainforest we have here. This is the world famous, as we call them, the lungs of the earth. Then you have Ituri rainforest, which is in Africa. In the Congo basin, the main river is Congo, as the main river is here Amazon. and you have Harappan forest, or you can call it Indo-Malaya, like we have in the Western Ghat section, and then you have whole from the Bangladesh south part, from the northeast part of our country, and then merging to the Indonesia, Malaysia, the Thailand, and you have Vietnam, and then you have Indonesia, all that, and some parts in Australia here, and then you have Atlantic forest, very small part, Hawaiian rainforest you have, and you have also in Madagascar. But the main things which are seen as rainforest are the Amazon rainforest, the Congo rainforest, and the Indo-Malaya rainforest here, which comprises the rainforest biome mainly. Next, you have the desert biome. So this desert biome is because of two reasons actually. First is the less rainfall, obviously not because of some obstruction, no orographic rainfall, and the next reason is the cold ocean currents. So the cold ocean currents actually flowing from the coast, they make the water cool, and when they make the water cool, the winds around gets cool and they get condensed and they settle on the ground. So when they settle on the ground, condensation is not possible, and that is why the precipitation is less, which generally from time to time create those areas into deserts. So we have two deserts around the world, like the hot desert Sahara, and mid latitude temperate kind of desert like the Gobi desert in China and Mongolian border. So the hot deserts include the larger areas of the hotter areas in the tropical areas and the subtropical areas like Africa, Australia, Arabian Peninsula, the Thar Desert of India, Pakistan, the Kalahari Desert in South Africa, southern part of Africa. And the North America desert extends from Mexico to USA and are also known by different names like the Mojave, like the Sonoro, and you have South American Peruvian desert also. Then if we talk about the mid latitude deserts, you have Gobi desert, you have Patagonian desert, all those. So why they are called deserts? The main thing they are called deserts is the rainfall never exceed 25 cm, or we can call that precipitation never exceeds 25 cm. So those areas with less than 25-30 cm rainfall are called the deserts. The prominent vegetation is always xerophytic. We know that drought resistant plant, they include cactus and thorny bushes and long rooted willy grasses, dwarf acacia, all that, and trees are rare where there is a groundwater abundance. There you can find tree. Mainly the leaves will be waxy and leathery, so that the water is not lost too much. The seeds may of many species of grasses and herbs have thick and tough skin to protect them when they lie dormant. So these are all the adaptation. You can see the deserts from here. If we talk about North America, here you will be finding Mojave Desert, the Californian desert, where you have the city of Las Vegas and San Joe and San Diego, all that part. And you have also Atacama Desert, you can see in the Chile and the Peru part. So if you see, both are actually influenced by the cold currents. If we talk about the Mojave Desert, it is influenced by the Californian current here, which is a cold current coming from the polar regions to the equatorial part. And if we talk about the Peru current, which is also known as the Humboldt current, it is also a cold current coming from the Antarctica southern part to the tropical part. So this cold current actually make this whole thing cold. Next, the temperate desert is Patagonia. Temperate desert, the cold current is not the reason. The reason is there less of rainfall and desertification mainly. So these are the mid latitude. If we go to Africa, you can see the Sahara desert. So Sahara desert previously was up to here only, but it has migrated because of the westerly winds. So these westerly winds are actually carrying the whole sand and the sediment and deposit it, and that is why the Red Sea here, this is the Red Sea, okay, the part which I am drawing in pink, it is Red Sea. So this Red Sea is actually getting saline because of this deposition, and the whole Sahara desert has extended up to the whole continent. So this is the tropical desert. Next you have Benguela current in the south. This is a cold current, and this is a Canary current also in the north. Both are cold current influencing the coastal deserts. And then you have Kalahari and Namib desert in the southern part of the African continent. If we talk about the mid latitude deserts in Asia, you have Turkestan desert, Iranian desert, you have Thar desert here in India Pakistan region, Gobi desert, Taklimakan desert in China Mongolia border, And again a tropical desert here in Australia, because the West Australian current here, it is also influencing. So in Australia you have many deserts like Sturt Stony Desert, you have Victorian Desert. Okay, so Australia is mainly having a very tough landscape because of these deserts. So these are the deserts of the world. You can look over to the diagram nicely, because I have given the PDF file, so it will be easy for you. So the 10th biome we did is your desert biome. Then we did about the tropical rainforest biome, which you known as the equatorial rainforest. Then the savanna biome, which is actually grasses plus trees, and the grasses are somewhat long here and present mainly in Africa. And then we did the monsoon biome, which is actually the type of forest and climate in India. And before that we did about the subtropical deciduous biome, or the China type, or the Gulf type biome. One biome which is left here is the temperate grassland biome. So this temperate grassland biome is actually that biome which is mainly influenced by the continentality feature. So this will be present in those areas where there will be no maritime influence. So this will be always present near the interiors of the continent. So this is the case in the northern hemisphere mainly, and it will have both extreme and both extreme summer and winter. Why extreme summer and winter? Because of the continentality feature, because of the less of tropical marine type of feature. There will be less there will be more heating up in the summer, and there will be less heating up in the winter. So that is why extreme. Rainfall will be around 50 cm, but it will be properly distributed, and the grasses are nutritious. That is why these areas are mainly known as the wheat cultivators. And as they do not have trees and do not have obstruction of the sunlight, the soil is very good here, because the whole matter is completely biodegradable, and it is degraded, and it goes back to the soil. So that is why the soil is somewhat fertile here. And this temperate for grasslands are mainly, they are blessed by some of the local winds, which are actually the hot winds, like the blizzards and the tornadoes. Why? Because they are mainly the snow eaters. So these are the regions of temperate areas where these grasslands are there in the continentality feature. So in the winter season actually they have snowfall. So to melt this snow, this hot winds come in there to make the winters mild. And when the winters are mild, the grasses grow nicely. So see, the temperate grasslands we find in the, if you see here in the map, the interior of the continent feature will be seen properly, and it will not be touching coast that much in the northern hemisphere. So see, this is the prairies in the Canada and USA border, and it is between the Great Lakes of USA and the Rocky Mountain foothills. So prairies is the grassland. The Chinook wind, the snow eater wind, actually make the winters very much mild here. Then you can see Pushtas. This is in the Hungary, the country Hungary, with the capital Budapest. And then you have steppes, which is present in the whole of Black Sea, Caspian Sea, Aral Sea region, in the countries like Ukraine and Bulgaria and Russia and Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. So it's a wheat growing area. Then you have Manchurian grassland in the borders of China and Mongolia. Okay, and this is about the northern hemisphere temperate grasslands. So prairies, North America; Pushtas, Hungary; steppes in the European temperate regions; Manchuria in China and Mongolia border. And next is Pampas, which is in Argentina. It is actually dominated by the warm current. So warm current gives some of the rainfall in this temperate area. That is why the grasslands are coming up. Same is with South Africa here, which is called as Veld. This is Veld. And then you have Australia, which is known as Downs. So Downs are the temperate grasslands here in the Murray-Darling Basin. Murray-Darling is the river there. And next is the Canterbury in the New Zealand. So these are the temperate grasslands. So we end up the biome lecture here. You can come up with any doubt if you have in the comment section, or you can WhatsApp me also, who all have my number, who are the developing success students. And that's all for this lecture. Thank you. Take care.